Side to the fullest. I would hate to just come here for a show. Really enjoying the East to the fullest.
It is a beautiful morning. I'm really happy that the team is able to experience the East a little bit this morning. Unfortunately, they did not get the chance to get up early and fight to get here for 7 o'clock because they overnighted in the beautiful village of Speyside. But in fact, they have been indeed enjoying the ambience, enjoying the atmosphere, enjoying the food. So this morning, the program is everything Speyside.
Yes, all things Speyside. We're here in the East this morning. And we'll also be connecting with Charlottesville as well this morning. So we're looking forward to the energy and the excitement. But we got to do some birthday shout-outs even when we're in Speyside, Ria.
That's right. But just before you get there, Julian, we've got to talk about what we're wearing.
Oh, yes.
This morning.
This is where I rested down for a moment.
That's right. They took the time to ensure that we were, that we are fully dressed and looking out there, looking good, representing them.
Excellent. So this morning I'm wearing Rashad's from Rashad's men's store. The shirt, patterned shirt. Of course, we have the trousers to match, and let's not forget the Boatman Timberlands. Certainly outfitted by Rashad's men's store this morning. Thank you very much again. Remember, you can check out Rashad's right there in Mount Pleasant.
That's right. And this morning I am a combination of Mateo's. My shoes, my sandals, courtesy Mateo's, as well as just my size, located at Lower Burnett Hill, Scarborough, and the number 639-1643. So we're talking here the African skirt, the off-shoulder top, and they have also got an art and craft corner that they're inviting the public to come and check out. It's really beautiful. I saw it there yesterday. They've got dresses on sale for $79 and $100. And I want to take the opportunity this morning to say thank you so much to Nicole Parks, yes, of Just My Size, and her staff, the manager, Elodine Parks, and the staff, Alana Sandy and Desiree Trim. Good morning to you, ladies. Have a great day, and thank you so much again. And we're talking here, and I want to say it like Nicole, just my size.
It's hard to get that like Nicole, right? I also want to shout out this morning, Ria, you notice the hairstyle as well.
Oh, definitely.
Classic cuts by Aquilon.
That's right.
Classic cuts by Aquilon. So that's the combination here this morning. And, we really want to continue to support local Ria. That's what's really important here, particularly in our Tobago context as we look to rebuild, to continue rebuilding things here within our Tobago space. So we continue to support local. Also want to send birthday shout-outs this morning. This family is responsible for my love for the East. Started with a Harvest household. So shout-outs this morning going out to the Kent household there. Kosi, Nadi, Nikki, the entire Kent family. And I want to send out early birthday greetings to Nadia Kent. She celebrates her birthday this weekend. Nadi, enjoy. Birthday greetings coming to you from the Tobago Updates family.
All right, and a special good morning going out to the Grays of Speyside. Ted Gray, Valerie Coker Gray, Tyrell Gray, Tyshawn Gray, and Jabez Gray. Good morning to this beautiful, good morning to this beautiful Gray household. To my good friend Fifi Spencer, good morning to you. Good morning to the Spencers. Good morning, Alvin Gray, Brenda Gray, some of my Speyside people. Judy and Roy, good morning.
We also want to do a shout-out, Ria. We had him on an interview, Ronaldo Belfon, the operations manager for Viewport. Today, he celebrates a birthday, so birthday blessings going out to Ronaldo Belfon. And also, Ronaldo and I went to UE, and also another UE colleague of mine, Tinil Devines. It's your morning. Tinil Devines, it's your day. Enjoy your birthday. Again, birthday blessings and greetings coming out from the Tobago Updates family.
All right, and a shout out to Auntie Dora Lyons. Now, we are in the village of Auntie Dora Lyons, who's always on the live. And she said to me, Ria, tell Julian, I said, don't go to Speyside and eat out all the breakfast. You hear what I'm telling you? So, Auntie Dora, good morning. And to the Davidsons of Speyside, all the Davidsons of Speyside. All right, I think that she has an aunt on the way in, a pink house just before we got here, her aunt. So good morning to the Davidsons. Love to you this morning, Auntie Dora Lyons.
And Ria, you connected very well there, because this is my opportunity to also wake up Carol Fraser Davidson and the entire household. When I'm coming down this hill, I will be knocking on your door and blowing that horn. Good morning to you, Carol Fraser Davidson, here in Speyside, as well as Katie. Yes, you said you'd be on your way here. I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting on you, Katie Robinson.
Yes.
I'm waiting to see you up here on this end. So we're looking forward, and really want to thank those of you joining us. We have folks on the live with us this morning, excited about the interviews coming up. We are seeing Grace Stanley, Travis Moses, Russell Morrison with us on the live this morning, Ruth Persad, Charla Ramsey Roberts. I'm seeing as well Toysy Jones, and well, one of our usual supporters, QK Melville, they're on the live with us this morning. I feel Macan sleeping in a little late these days. He's probably on vacation. Macan, his love. We also see on the live with us this morning, Liesel James.
All right. Who else have we got?
I think Keyshawn Robley, I see you. Yes, Macan reach on the live now. I see Macan just raise his hands. All right, Kanika Murray, we want to thank all of you for the love and support here this morning. Ria, who do we have on the rundown? I mean, it's probably obvious who we start with.
Who we start with, definitely. So, as we mentioned earlier on the program today, we're talking everything space side from the beginning to the end. So, coming up first on the program, we will be chatting with the Honorable Farley Augustine, Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly. Breakfast with the chief, certainly. So it's going to be all about the retreat, the outlook, and a lot more happening with him.
And then we continue the discussions this morning with Newton George, and he will be giving us that natural history guide, a visit to Goat Island. And this segment will be done by Candice Jackson, and I think Candice is somewhere here. Somewhere over.
Over yonder.
Somewhere over. So viewers, we'll be connecting with Candice Jackson. And then we have on the lineup this morning as well, Rayan Moore, the leader of the Charlottesville Police Youth Club. No stranger to Tobago. And I know she's coming here proudly to represent Charlottesville this morning, to let us know it's not just about being in Speyside, but it's Speyside and Charlottesville.
That's right.
All right. And who do we wrap with this morning,
Ria?
Ria?
Anything, Julian, about country people is that they are here very early. In fact, before time. So we got here this morning and Rayan was already here.
Yay!
Right? So closing us off.
She ain't playing with that at all.
No. You can't be country people with time. So closing us off on the program this morning, we're chatting with Avion Orr. And she's an art teacher at the Speyside High School. And a shout out this morning to Speyside High School, Julian. I have a hint of blue on me this morning to represent his Speyside High School.
I know, and I've got to shout out my cousin as well, teaching at Speyside High. Joselle O'Connor, teaching at Speyside High. Want to say good morning to you, and of course she has that love and passion for teaching. How could I forget? I must shout out our youth assemblyman for the area as well, Adriel Wheeler, usually tuned in to our program, and I know that Adriel will also be launching a youth organization, and that will be happening over the course of the weekend. So all the best there as well. Good morning to you, Adriel.
All right. And Avian Orr is going to be chatting with us on the art at Speyside, and a few of the students have been recognized throughout the years for their artwork under Sir Tomley Roberts and Miss Avian Orr. So we're going to be chatting with her on all of that.
So, Ria, what's been happening in Tobago? You know, I've been relaxing in Speyside. I'm not quite certain. What's been happening in the Tobago space, Ria?
Let's see if we can get there. A lot of things have been coming up, you know, in particular the issue here of the COVID-19 cases and persons being aware, persons being very careful. Let me just say, persons being careful of what's been happening, you know, keeping themselves safe. I'm battling here with a sugar fly or something that seems to want to get
so let me give Ria a moment there. And I also, you know, as we are up in the east, let me make sure and shout out one of my good friends as well. And I see she has joined us on the live. Nadine Stewart Phillips, good morning to you. Morning. And we thank you for the continued love and support. Ria, that's another household that I can be sure to enjoy a meal at, and certainly taking care of me. You know, being in the east as well, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much this morning. Ria, who else do we have on the live and the lineup? And Ria, we had to ask for extra time this morning, you know, because we're in Speyside and people are alerting us, so therefore we need to connect with persons, of course, to make everyone aware. I'm seeing Kai Martin as well, reminding Adriel, you need to go up there and meet them. Kai, I agree in terms of coming up here to meet us this morning. And the morning show is leaps and bounds in the lead. Well done to the team. Davin Nancis, we agree with you and we thank you so much for the continued support coming out here. Rhea, I see that Siobhan Stewart Allen has come out from anniversary celebration, so she can tell us once again on the live. Good morning, Rhea and Julian.
She's alive and well. Thank God for that. But I'm understanding that we have a special birthday going out today to former Assemblyman, in fact, former Chief Sec Ansel Dennis, celebrating his birthday today. So good morning and happy birthday going out to you this morning, Ansel Dennis.
Right, and we also sending out birthday celebrations to Esbon Andrews. Morning, and birthday greetings to you coming from the Tobago Updates family. Rhea, it's a great morning in the East. It's a great morning in the East.
You can't get this at the Tobago Updates studio.
I know, and I can only anticipate it must be a challenge for the chief to be deciding, my God, leaving this kind of energy in the morning to wake up in Lowlands.
I tell you. I'm seeing a good friend of mine in the midst, and I want to send a very special shout out this morning to Pastor Selby Nimblet and his wife, who is my sister Kimoy Nimblet. Good morning, Kimoy Reed Nimblet. Let me put in the read here. Good morning to you guys. Pastor Johnson, Sister Karen, good morning to you guys. Julian, it's time for us to share the live.
Yes.
Share the live.
So viewers, we want to remind you, we're having a great time today. This is the Tobago Updates morning show. And we want to remind you, remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
I want to get up out my chair, cause everybody's getting so lazy. Don't want nobody touch my hair, cause a lot of sisters acting too crazy. And them not tough like this, rough like this, and them not nice like this. Some can't take it when you talk true sense. Rather hear the words that glorify nonsense. Yes, and I got my brains, and I'm pretty like my mama. I don't.
To all Tobagonians and visitors of this beautiful island, the Tobago Recycling Resource Initiative is seeking your efforts and support in keeping a clean and organized, friendly environment. In doing so, drop-off bins are located at strategic areas around Tobago for your recyclable materials such as plastics, aluminum and steel cans, glass bottles and tetra packs in bags, and let's protect our environment. Our own Tobago Recycling Resource Initiative is here to propel that change. Look for the white bin nearest to your area.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Patricia Nicholson Richards to our top
Tobago
story.
Update Sports. I'm your boy Marcus Daniel. Thank you.
Trinidad and looms as
remains when
the public is
nobody lives here. Oil and gas exploration continues to affect the livelihood.
Spearsides Marine
in Tobago fishermen.
When will the
Sion Francis
hospital be fully functional?
Of the 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. window
Still find
at the
treasures like the golden
continue
waterfall
to rise in Tobago.
It's a different type of thing down there. Man, we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Good morning, good morning, put a smile on your
John Boy, I got a call and they're asking me to talk to the nation, talk to people and tell them about getting vaccinated. Yeah. I'm not sure if I should or if it's the right thing for me to tell someone to get vaccinated.
Yeah, but you just came out from Tobago.
Yeah, and 3 of my friends passed. And that's when I realized, you know, I really need to say something.
Similarly here, I have an insulin-dependent son, and so I had to get all my kids vaccinated. I didn't have a choice.
I made the choice because of my parents. But the question is, what or who do you love more than yourself for you to make the choice to protect yourself or protect them from you? Trouble again!
Trinidad and Tobago, let's stop the spread of COVID-19. Vaccinate today.
You can now get whatever.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back. It's 7:23 a.m. and this is the Tobago Updates morning show. We're coming to you live from, and I pause, Speyside. Breakfast with the Chief this morning in this segment. We welcome on set with us, well, sorry, Rhea, on set, as in on the beach with us, overlooking. And he'll tell you better about the space that we're in this morning. Chief Secretary, the Honorable Farley Augustine. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I'm tempted to say welcome to Tobago Updates, but I know you tell us, where are we in Speyside?
In an area that we call Indian Bay, which is, the correct name is West Indian Bay, if you check the records. And this property at one time was owned by a lady that dressed the Queen, and then the property was later purchased by Mr. Bermudas. We're talking about those who own the biscuit factory that you're aware of, right. Quicks and so on. And so we are here perched on one of their decking overlooking Goat Island and Little Tobago. It's really a hidden gem, a beautiful beach lower down from us, and just it can't get better than this, and it's a sign of how beautiful Tobago is.
And if you see Rhea focused, looking past the camera, she's just paying attention to where breakfast is being set up. So it's okay, she's fine this morning.
That's okay, that's okay.
So just before we get into talking the business of Tobago,
yes,
it's important that we start from the context, just as Rhea and I would have done, speaking to support for local designers. So you're not putting me on the spot.
Yes.
I am hoping that you are wearing local this morning. Well, supporting the local trade.
Well, the thing is, everything I have on, basically from the shoe to the pants to the shirt to the belt, I picked up at Rashad's down in Mount Pleasant area there. And it's one of the men's store that, you know, I frequent here in Tobago. But, you know, I believe in supporting local businesses. And just yesterday I had a visit from the Spanish ambassador, and I made it a point since getting into office for all of these courtesy calls, because they're coming quite rapid and frequently. This week alone we had 2, and we expect at least 2 more before the end of the month. And I've made it a point, you know, to purchase the items to be used as gifts from local artisans, and we always package them with a card, a call card, a business card, so that, you know, these ambassadors and high commissioners will be able to tap in to our local resource later on. They take it back to the embassy, they take it back home to Spain or to the UK or wherever they're from, and someone asks about it, they can always show them the card, give them the contact information, because we have to promote local businesses, and you know, I'm big on driving private sector growth, so
good time
it's part of it
to start in that direction.
Sure.
As we look at the particularly starting with finance and touching on the area of business development, we know that's one of the units within the Tobago House of Assembly that seeks to provide that kind of support. What kind of extended efforts can we look out for in the Tobago space, especially, as you said, for those young and upcoming persons wanting to venture into business but not always having that financial support or the motivation?
Well, firstly, our business development unit, which was of course at community development, will be moving back into finance. So they're moving back to where they were originally. You will notice that now we have the portfolio includes trade, so it's finance, trade, and the economy, and that's because part of the mandate is to build out a trade desk, or rather trade office, that will be particularly keen in moving Tobago goods and services beyond the Tobago space. We often complain about the economies of scale we have on the island given the population size, and we are looking at ways in which we can move our goods and services beyond our borders, and starting with neighboring Trinidad, where we have just over 1 million people, where we don't require visa, require any special registration, we don't require any special permits. We can just register in Tobago and provide a service in Trinidad tomorrow, basically. Additionally, we are looking carefully at the issue of marketing, which may not be the strong suit of the average entrepreneur. You know, you may be a good businessman, you might be extremely talented, you are a fashion designer, you are a painter, you may be a singer, but you may not be excellent at marketing yourself. You don't know how to handle the social media handles, you don't know how to craft your product and package it in a particular way. And so that's the kind of expertise we want to bring, so that we can move products, and as in goods and services, from the entrepreneur, from the creator, all the way down to the end user. We're looking at setting up Tobago shelves in major supermarket chains in Trinidad. We're looking also at partnering with the manufacturing sector down in Trinidad. We don't have a vibrant manufacturing sector. Today, for example, the Secretary with responsibility for food security will be going into Goldsboro to look at that plant that was being set up to look at the processing of root crops into flowers. We're complaining about the price of flour. I've already given them the mandate that they need to go and talk to the KISS, the Bermudas, all those major manufacturers, Carib and so on, because we have to begin to move the product from right in Tobago, from a nice package inside Penny Savers or your local supermarket. We have to move from packaging with just putting things in a plastic bag and tying a knot on the end. We have to move out of the soccer bag phase and move our products into a phase where packaging is nice, where we can possibly, if we explore it, KISS may consider taking our alternative flowers and creating a product out of it and putting it on the shelf, which will help reduce our import bill. So that's the direction we're looking at, and we are actively setting the right experts in place to be able to get that done for us. But we have to move progressively in that direction.
And just to be clear here, coming out of the retreat with the other team members, you indicated that you wanted Tobago, in fact within the first quarter, Tobago should be on its way to becoming the #1 producer.
Correct.
You are looking well outside of Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's not difficult to see that, because when you look around the Caribbean space, in the region, we are almost solely dependent on wheat. And the variables with wheat market prices, they are such now that it's difficult to see wheat prices reducing anytime soon. In fact, there's a possibility it will trend higher, because we have conflict happening with Russia along the Hungarian border. That is driving up prices, because Hungary is a major wheat producer. We have China that is mass buying the wheat and stockpiling it. I'm not sure if they are preparing for some zombie apocalypse, but they are stockpiling the wheat in great amounts, and in doing that, it is forcing the market prices higher. And because that is happening, we can't control it. But across the Caribbean, we have not explored fully flowers from our root crops. And here's an interesting nutritional fact. The complex starches you find in ground provisions are way better than those you find from rice or from wheat flour, and we have it right here. We grew up on it, and you know, we wondered sometimes. I used to wonder what made our grandparents live so long. And they ate a whole lot of provision. In fact, they only had Sunday lunch on a Sunday. That's why we call it Sunday lunch. Now we having Sunday lunch every day of the week. We eating rice every day of the week. We eating pie every day of the week. Baked chicken every day of the week. But our grandparents and those before, they had a lot of ground provisions in their diet, a lot of fish in their diet, a lot of vegetables, the okras from the garden, from subsistence farming, and see how long they lived. And notwithstanding the fact that some of them did in fact get diabetes and hypertension, they lived long because by majority they also worked very hard. They walked these inordinately long distances to get to the garden. My family owns a piece of property in an area we call Zaptree, which is somewhere between Spacer and Charlottesville on that ridge. And the last time we hiked there, and I said hike, it was a hike to get there, right? When we hiked to get to the piece of land to which there is no road now. And you could see the yam bank, the rows in which the yams were planted. And my great-grandfather was Grenadian that migrated to Tobago, Norbert Augustine, and then married a Macpherson woman from Delaford. So I have
something about Delaford women. Sorry,
just saying. But the thing is, when you look at the distance they traveled, and I could imagine the crocus bags with the provisions being carted from that distance to here. I mean, their very lifestyle allow them to live longer, healthier lives. And part of getting back healthy is about changing the way we eat. And I reckon that if we eat local, if we eat organic foods, if we eat foods that we grow ourselves, we are more likely to be healthier than if we just eat all these imported and processed foods.
One of the topical areas now within the Tobago space, and national at that, is the Attorney General's recent comments, and comments specific at that to whether or not Tobago has that authority to be able to make the proposed indications regarding the matter of the public servants and vaccination. I know you indicated that at the level of the Executive Council and the team that there would be some deliberation, and you cautioned when you would have addressed coming out of the retreat that for supervisors not to preempt anything. Are there any announcements to be made, or when can we look forward to, if not now, how soon, an indication in terms of the position of the Tobago House of Assembly?
You can look forward to an announcement by Monday. And I will caution you not to listen much to the AG. He is known for not winning many cases in the court, and he's known for not being a very brilliant lawyer either. So I wouldn't pay him much attention. The THA pays a cadre of public servants and staff. We decide whether we pay them or not. That doesn't come from Trinidad. That is devolved authority to the Tobago House of Assembly. And I have a responsibility to make a decision that is a responsible one. In fact, I saw floating around social media space a circular from the chief ad that required some information about those who were vaccinated and unvaccinated within the TRHA space. And I think people misinterpreted the intent of that circular, thinking it was to determine who to pay and who not to pay. But what we are actively doing is trying to see how many of those that we pay are actually vaccinated from those who are unvaccinated. If I have a situation, and in the figures that the Prime Minister's office presented when this edict was pronounced, it indicated that 50% of TRHA was vaccinated. We are trying to ascertain the actual number. If I have a situation where 50% of my hospital staff is unvaccinated, I cannot responsibly tell the 50% that is unvaccinated to stay home, because then I will end up with a larger crisis on my hands where people will simply die, because at the moment our hospital staff, they are stressed out, they are overworked, and if 50% of those are removed based on that edict from the Prime Minister, then naturally services will not be available at the hospital. And for me, saving lives is more important than the ego of the AG or the Prime Minister. And I recognize that the AG is trying to actively mount a campaign of hate and spite against the people of Tobago because they have lost an election. We have moved past the election a long time ago. We are in a new year, and that's why I pay the AG very little mind. I don't respond to him unless I'm asked to. I am not interested in getting into rabs with him because it's just an unnecessary clutter and noise in this space. We are going to do what is responsible. There may even be a situation that if we ask, based on the cursory numbers I'm seeing in some divisions, if we ask only the vaccinated to come out, the vaccinated will not get salaries because there just will not be sufficient staff to process salaries, and an administrator cannot go down to accounts and herself or himself do the salary books, then sign off the checks by herself or himself. That will not work. What about paying the bills of the THA? What about keeping the utilities going? What about the critical spend that is needed in the hospital? So I am not listening to the AG at all. I am doing what is responsible, which is, one, carefully ascertaining what our numbers for vaccinated versus unvaccinated looks like, and then determining what is the best approach. I understand the intention of the Prime Minister, and I understand the intention of the Prime Minister is to try to find an aggressive way to coerce people into getting vaccinated. But the cost of the candle should not be more than the cost of the funeral, and we have to measure that.
Are you in support of the potential move which he also spoke to about possibly making it law in Trinidad and Tobago, the matter of mandatory vaccination?
Well, again, pay a little attention to the AG. For that matter to be law, it will require a special majority in the Parliament. In fact, even the Prime Minister's pronouncement is not legal. No single public servant, no single politician can just stand and say, this is a directive, don't pay workers, don't come to work. You can't, because there are other implications as well. Implications for gratuities, implications for pensions, implications for service. How is that those days accounted for? There's nothing in the law that provides for it. And so, as politicians, and I've cautioned my team members, those on the executive, about this, that as politicians we have to be careful the kinds of instructions we give to public servants, because they may not all be legal, and as a politician you don't have authority to just pass on an instruction just like that. You have to ensure that the instruction falls within the limits and confines of the law. And again, I understand the intent of the Prime Minister. I am vaccinated. I know people who are unvaccinated, and I believe in vaccination by choice, and I believe we need to educate and keep educating people, and communicating with people properly will result in more people opting to take the vaccine. But as well-intentioned as it might be, the truth is the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and we have to be careful we don't create a deeper crisis than the one we are already having. And I will do what is responsible for the people of Tobago. I will not just run with something just because the Prime Minister says it, or because Al-Wari comes and speaks in his best convent voice, talking up in his nose hole, and somehow that makes it law. That's not how we operate in Tobago.
All right, let me ask you here, Chief Augustine, with regards to Kelvin Morris's letter, Kelvin Morris, Minority Leader Kelvin Morris's letter to collaborate for health. What are your thoughts on that? Will you be responding to that?
Oh, well, most definitely. In fact, at the first sitting of the House in December last year, the 21st of December, I think it was, I told him, when we broke the session, I told him that I would love to have a sit down with him. And so he knows that I have no problem meeting with him at all. Dr. Faith B. Israel, Secretary Dr. Faith B. Israel, has already indicated to the team that she plans on inviting him to one of those large COVID task force meetings so that he can see the general perspective he can hear from the medical practitioners and see the direction we are going into. Most likely, I'll try to see if I can meet with him next week. We tried communicating via phone this week, and it didn't quite work out because when I called him, I didn't get him. When he called me, he didn't get me, sort of thing. And this week was particularly hectic on my side. In fact, yesterday I had my breakfast yesterday at some minutes to 7 in the evening. My wife packed my lunch bag with breakfast, and I had it minutes to 7 in the evening. That is night time. That is dark time. Wow. Right? Because from the time I got in, I just kept going until that time. Yesterday was just one of those days, and this week was just one of those weeks. You know, but certainly within next week, I will have a meeting with him and hear from him. And the truth is, I really want us to build out a different kind of political culture for Tobago. Trinidad must look at us in Tobago and envy us, and look at what we are doing in this space, and want what we have in terms of how politicians interact with each other. And trust me, Mr. Morris and I am certain we'll have heated debates. We will have some strong disagreements, and we may even have some choice words for each other in the future. But that should never prevent us from being human to each other and being cordial. And I already gave him a verbal commitment that I will give now, that although he's in the minority, his district will not be marginalized, right, or will not be sidelined because he's not a part of the majority. Because we just have to build a different political culture. The truth is, though we have different political philosophies, you know, we all share the same end goal, which is that we want to see Tobago progress. Right. I want what we have here. I mean, I don't think anything beats this in the world. I mean, I could see the sunrise in the morning, the best sunrise in the country from right here. I can sometimes look when I'm on top of the hill, I can see all the reef just there underneath the water, the coloration in the Atlantic Ocean there. I go to Charlottesville, I see it. I drive around Tobago. I mean, every community in Tobago, you can find spectacular views. And it says to me that one, God already gave us the best he could give us. It's left for us now to work together in a much more harmonious way in getting things done and ensuring that we could work things out. And again, we have to change our political culture. And I know that's what Alwari and Dr. Rowley has not gotten yet. So they saw that we beat them badly in the election, and you know they want to come after us. But they don't understand that what we are building for Tobago is transformative, it's different, and it's something that they should take some pattern after. Because what happens in the parliament down there will never happen, well, let me say not will, but should never happen at number 1 Jerningham Street. We should operate differently, and we're just simply building that out.
All right, so Chief, one of the other areas we want to chat about this morning, just as we were going into the elections, there was a major announcement with regards to the tourism sector and the government bringing a Marriott hotel here in the Tobago space. What's the position of the current Tobago House of Assembly administration on that matter?
Well, I can tell you I have already had one informal conversation with the lead individual for the company doing that project. And I am supposed to have some further discussions with him next week with a view of having him come to Tobago and addressing the Executive Council. During the election, I was very clear. The PDP was very clear. Number 1, tourism is under the remit of the THA. And it's interesting that people are talking about what we have authority to do and not to do, when they have been encroaching on THA's authority these past almost 7 years. And I've made it clear You can't build a hotel in Tobago of that magnitude. You can't stay from cabinet and give away Tobago lands from cabinet in Trinidad when the law says clearly that all state lands are vested in the THA, when the law says clearly that tourism is a fifth scheduled function of the THA. You can't stay in cabinet and do that, and then Tobagoans only learn of it from a press conference. That was insulting, and that's why Tobagoans voted resoundingly against them, because we can't have the Chief Secretary as a puppet, as an accessory to a press conference where a minister from Trinidad comes up here to announce a private sector project on Tobago people's land. That is just not right. And I've said to the proprietor, quite frankly, I said, look, it's not that we are against outsiders investing in Tobago. It's not we're against foreign direct investment. It is just that if it's going to happen, it must be on the terms and conditions of Tobagonians. At this point, none of us here know exactly what the project entails, except for what we have been told, which is the room size, the number of people they claim we will be able to employ, and the potential cost of the investment. But we really don't know whether they will protect the historical artifacts that are there. And you will notice that now in the division, we have antiquities as a clear mandate, because we need to protect all of our artifacts around the island. And so it's about getting them to come and go through with us what exactly they plan on doing, and we will be able to say to them, look, we can keep this won't work for Tobagoans, we need to protect the environment here, we need to do this, we need to do that. And I will tell you that as much as the project was announced, no approvals were really had for the project, so there's no certificate of environmental clearance as yet. None of these things have been done, and that requires conversation. We will have the conversation, we will look at what they want to do, we will not throw away the project, but we will ensure we protect Tobagonians' rights with this project.
All right, very quickly here before we wrap things up with you, Chief Augustine, with regards to the structure of the Office of the Deputy Chief Secretary.
Sure.
This is the first time that we're seeing this happening
sure.
in the Tobago space. Why the need for this?
Right, there's a need for this because one of the core functions that we believe we have, or core mandate we have from the people, is to proceed on fighting for our autonomy. We have self-determination, the right to self-determination. We have been talking about it for years. All of we are born and meet them talking about it and fighting for it. And one of the things we wanted to do is to have separate and apart from the normal function, the THA, that constant advocacy and building out of plans for a greater autonomy for Tobago. And it's not as simplistic as I'm making it sound now. Neither is it a simple task, because that includes educating Trinidadians about what we want. Because to get it, we need the parliament in Trinidad to vote for it. And it includes engaging those from the Tobago community that lives in Trinidad to help us fight for it. There are also some 7 schedule matters. Some offices, for example, that reside in Trinidad, and the law says they are supposed to put offices in Tobago. That has never happened. If you need an RPO with regards to lands, you have to go to Trinidad. If you have to have a query from an approval with town and country planning, you have to get to Trinidad and go down to Central. And in the history of the THA, nobody has been fighting for these things. Recently in the court system, we had problems with people getting their bar license, because on one hand, somebody who was to give a signature was removed from Tobago and that wasn't there, and then the customs was not recognizing some paperwork because that signature wasn't present and so on. But nobody fights for that. The law says that all businesses that operate in Tobago by law must pay their taxes in Tobago. But guess what? I am sure none of these banks have ever paid their taxes in Tobago. I am sure that courts and standards have never paid their taxes in Tobago. But who has addressed that? But the law says that is what is supposed to happen. And that has never been built out. That has never been addressed. And so the core function of the Office of the Deputy Chief Secretary is to more or less become our chief advocate and our chief diplomat, to ensure that these things happen, so that even without having the upgraded Tobago House of Assembly act and constitutional reform that we need. The things that the law says we are supposed to get that will make your life and my life easier and the functioning in Tobago easier, so that you don't have to go to Trinidad and fight up to try to get land documents done quite in Trinidad for lands quite back in Tobago. Those simple things can get addressed, and so that is his core task. I'm happy to report that as of yesterday, he more or less completed the task with MSU, which is Management Services Unit, and that's a unit within the THA that looks at structure, and so pretty soon we'll be able to give you the organizational structure of his office and what we'll obtain there. And we hope that this will not be a one-off thing, because some of these issues, you know, we have suffered with them for donkey years, and some may not be completed in the space of 4 years. And so I'm hopeful that it's a tradition we will continue, so as to ensure that Tobago gets its autonomy that it has been fighting for a long time.
Chief, I know we're running out of time, but Tobago will not forgive us if we didn't ask about the follow-up on ex gratia payments to a public servant.
Of course, I know they wouldn't forgive you. And you know what is interesting, and I'm smiling, because in the campaign we received quite a bit of flack for this promise. On one hand, some said, well, the then chief secretary came out and said that would cost about $20 million. You know, we don't have money for that. I didn't realize at the time that they were spending out all the money, so they weren't planning to leave any money for that. And then on the other hand, she was saying, but that means it's severance benefit and so on. I'm happy to be going to finally understand what ex gratia payments mean. And people all of a sudden are tagging me in what they see Barbados doing, and St. Kitts and Nevis doing, and who is doubling their salaries for Christmas and all of these things. And I'm saying we are looking within this fiscal year, before the end of the fiscal year, to make those payments. And that's because when I look at Tobago families have been hard hit by this pandemic. There's been a serious reduction in income, in household income and disposable income. And we took for granted that a lot of what we had it because we had some services that were available. And with the shutting down of the economy, people were hit hard. Many have lost their jobs. And it shows COVID-19 has exposed bare the systematic flaws we have with regards to our economy. And it shows that we were not sustainable in terms of the economy we built. And so I have given a mandate to the folks in finance, and we should be wrapping that up soon. And I mean, I will be the happiest person when I'm coming to announce and say, look in your bank account, workers, you see some extra, something extra in the kitty there. I will tell you that it may not be the $1,000 as was proposed by Mr. Duke, by Deputy Chief Secretary Duke, but I have given a commitment to the team, I've given a mandate to the team that whatsoever we find, we will share it equally, because that's what we know in Tobago. If I think about how we live our lives in Tobago, if all I have is one breadfruit, I slice it in half and I share half with the neighbor. If all I have is one mango, I slice off the faces, front, back and sides, and share it among the children. And so we're going to use that approach. Whatever we can pull from the resources to do it, we will pull and we will share it, and it will stop a hole somewhere about. Because it's about ensuring that Tobago families are back on their feet again. And I'm happy to report that pretty soon, that by the end of this month, we should be ready to give tourism workers their checks. We have reopened the application process, and we have made it clear that we're giving until the end of the month, because some would have missed the initial deadline. So if you missed the initial deadline, please submit, and we will review and ensure that you are able to get something. And it's about trying to get everybody back on their feet again. We are all in this. We all having to pinch here and there and cut and contrive, but we'll make it. By the way, I still looking at all the time. You all are on space side time. So I hope you all plan to run away as soon as the thing done, and trying to cut it. Listen, when you finish, you finish. Right? Tell the TV station in Trinidad or wherever that you're streaming to, they have to wait until whenever you finish with the program. People staying online until you are finished with the program. You're on space side time. With this kind of kind of Atlantic breezes, you ain't rushing anywhere, you know.
So on that note, producer, taking directives from the chief, quick question about the COVID situation in the Tobago. Chief, you have to answer that quickly first. The matter of the COVID situation, and we saw the reintroduction of one of our sons of the soil, Nathaniel Duke.
Yes.
A response some persons are very pleased and happy with. But tell us about the projections in terms of fighting the COVID pandemic here in Tobago.
Listen, if you know how I'm itching to share certain plans with you, and I'm telling you for the first time in a long time since this COVID thing started, I am hopeful. I'm hopeful because the plans I am privy to are plans that they are drastic, but I think that they move us in the right direction. Dr. Nathaniel Duke has contracted by the TRHA to be one of our medical chief of staffs. Is in the moment assisting us with building out our COVID-19 response. Our first line of attack is to reduce the mortality rate because that is too high. There is no need for us to have so many deaths as a result of COVID. So we're looking at drastic ways of reducing that, and which has to do with us improving, updating rather, our pattern of care and how we treat those who are ill in this regard. Additionally, we are rolling out an education campaign soon, well, as soon as next week rather, about how you are to cope with COVID-19. So you get infected. We will be having our physiotherapists, I'm told by Secretary Dr. B as well, will come and teach people breathing exercises, ways that you should lie on the bed or on a sofa with a pillow that will keep the lungs clear enough that you keep breathing properly and so on. Because one of the things we have not explored in this space is what should you do if you contract the virus? What should you do if you become ill?
At this point, it's not if you contract the virus, but when.
But when? Well, I don't know about I've never had it. I intend not to have it. I wear my mask despite being vaccinated and all of that. I wear my mask. I keep my distance. I'm not going in any private zest anywhere, right? I try to keep as many meetings as possible virtual as opposed to in person and face to face. And we all should be doing the same, even when you're vaccinated. And I'm noticing that some who are vaccinated have got a little lax and so on about the thing. I'm seeing all the eyes and stares behind my back about the time. You know, politician will talk all day if you have a chance to.
So this is where we thank the chief, and we want to remind.
We'll have breakfast soon. Don't worry.
Yes, we want to remind Tobago that he continues to stand by his word and keep his commitment to keep the Tobago populace and even those of you out there throughout the region and throughout the world updated on matters happening. And we must confirm that it has always been with ease that we are able to make the necessary contact with Chief Secretary Farley Augustine.
Yes.
And I think I want to close this segment, Rhea, with the words of one of our viewers, Giselle Donaldson Yates. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine, Farley Chavez Augustine, you were sent by God to lead our island. Go make a difference. Viewers, coming up in the next segment, we continue the conversation this morning with Candice Jackson.
Yes.
And I think, where's Goat Island?
That's what we call Front Island locally.
Front Island,
so that's the island to the very front, which was at one time owned by IT McLeod and is now the property of the Tobago people through the THA, and which we will be doing some things with.
Okay.
When you go across the Candice, you will see the dilapidated building, but of course
there for a number of
years. But you vote for restoration and refreshing, so you will have some restoration and refreshing that will happen soon. So right across there in the distance from us, maybe this is a good point that we should be ziplining across to Goat Island.
We'll leave it right there, Chief. So we're heading over to Candice. Viewers, we're heading across to Candice Jackson just after the break. But we want to remind you, remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
All Tobagonians and visitors of this beautiful island, the Tobago Recycling Resource Initiative is seeking your efforts and support in keeping a clean and organized, friendly environment. In doing so, drop-off bins are located at strategic areas around Tobago for your recyclable materials such as plastics, aluminum and steel cans, glass bottles and Tetra packs in bags, and let's protect our environment. Our own Tobago Recycling Resource Initiative is here to propel that change. Look for the white bin nearest to your area.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
And it is my biggest pleasure to come to you from Goat Island. Well, folks, this morning I have just been taking in the wonderful sights here. I mean, everybody has not been to this island. You just see it from the road. And let me tell you something, it is gorgeous, right? On my left, we have here, I don't know if my cameraman can show you a little bit, we have a bit of a natural swimming pool. And on my right, we have the reef. So, I mean, it's truly a wonderful space. And to tell us a little bit about how this place came about and what is so special about Goat Island, I am here with award-winning bird watcher, Mr. Newton George. Good morning, Mr. George, and a very special good morning to you.
Good morning, Candice, and good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad. Good morning, the Caribbean and the wider world. And a special good morning to Speyside. We are in the capital of paradise. You can see as you can see.
Yes. All right. Well, come with me as we go, and we just explain to the viewers a little bit about this home and how it came about to be. First of all, I just want to treat with a myth and a rumor about Goat Island, and that is that Mr. Ian Fleming, who wrote the James Bond movies, it is said that he wrote it from this island. Is that true?
Well, Candice, it is really a myth. Now, I was very fortunate to speak with Mr. John Parks, the guy that constructed this building. I was very fortunate. I met him at Castara. I was just going about my business.
Yes.
And when I saw him sitting waiting on the bus, I said, wow, this is the opportunity to have a talk with this man.
Right.
And what he said, the very first owner of this building was an American gentleman by the name of John Morsel. And then he sold it to another American by the name of Dr. Russell. We never knew his surname. And then Dr. Russell sold the island to Mr. Gwenwyn Todd.
Right.
And then Mr. Todd sold the island to a local, Mr. Isaac McLeod.
Okay.
Before Mr. McLeod sold it to the Tobago House of Assembly.
All right, so right now we are standing here in what is the gallery or the porch, if you will, of the house, the main house on the island. And we are about to go inside, so I don't know, I think my cameraman might want to get inside just a little bit ahead of us before we start the tour inside. Of course, like I said, I mean, as a child, always looking at this house as it coming down the hill into Speyside, wondering what it looks like, and we are showing it to you here only on Tobago Updates. All right, so tell us a little bit about where we are, Mr. George.
Okay, well, we are in this center of the building, and firstly, I want to take you along to the kitchen area, and this was the kitchen for the building. You can have a look at it. You can see it was a beautiful kitchen.
Yes.
Still, we have the fridge still there.
You have all the appliances.
All the appliances are still there. And there are 5 bedrooms in this building.
And tell me a little bit, because I just really wait for the cameraman to come in, but there's something special about these pillars right here.
If you look at, these are a wooden pillars here, you can see, and these will last a very, very long time. As a matter of fact, they might outlive all of us, because if you look at them here, really solid wood, and you know it's the sea blast sometimes is a preservative for the wood as well. It will last much longer, and in this area, it's one of the, you can see this large area is the living room. And then we have in this back here.
Just wait for the cameraman to get in.
It's one of the bedrooms. And if you
with
look,
some wonderful views of space.
If you look in this area, this is the bathroom and toilet. Look at the tiles here, in perfect condition. Perfect condition. It will be a travesty if the assembly leave this building to deteriorate it so bad that it cannot repair. It will be a travesty.
Right, so we are going to go up the stairs. And folks, don't be scared if you see a few bats around. It is an abandoned house, and bats are just only natural. And don't worry, I'm not going to be scared. So, but yes, we are now in the upstairs where there's 4 bedrooms up here, right?
Let's go to the master bedroom first.
Right.
And you can see people are still camping out. Eh?
Yes, we have some camping out stuff going on here, but we have some hardwood floors.
This was the master bedroom, and again, if you look at the tiles in the area, the quality tiles.
You're seeing Speyside, and the other window you're getting to see the ocean a bit more. I mean, can you imagine walking up to this scene every day? This is heaven.
Okay, there are 3 bedrooms in this area. There's one to the back here. I'm not sure if they want to have a look at this one.
Oh, and this one has taken a bit of beating from the weather.
Again, the bathroom and toilet there.
Right.
There's another one in the back here.
So when was this house constructed?
I cannot give you the exact date, but I'm sure it's sometime in the 50s, like in the late 50s.
Okay.
Because I remember Mr. Parks, when the government, the P&M government started, you can see, going to elections in 1956. And while Mr. Parks was here, he started the pier, the jetty on Little Tobago. And when Dr. Williams found out,
back side of the house, and where there are some stairs, you would see some stairs in the distance, and that what leads to what, Mr. George?
Okay, these steps here leads to where they had the Delco that was servicing the building with the electricity, and further on there is the servant quarters up there as well. And this area, it's a really beautiful view, overlooking Blue Waters Inn, overlooking Starwood, Belmont, and beautiful Speyside as well.
Folks, let me just take a minute to just take in this view. Listen, we came up here really early this morning, just as the sun was rising. And Farley is, Mr. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine is right. It's one of the most beautiful sunrises I've ever seen in the morning. But look at this view of the whole of Speyside, the mountain.
Jacuzzi and seawater swimming pool as well.
Right, right. And then what is so special about this area right here?
This area, half of this building here is fresh water. So the water was collected from the roof, and half of the building on the bottom, the first floor, was water. So it wasn't a problem to get water on the island, because they had enough water to service the island from the rain.
The house and, you know, the different owners.
Well, all my life I lived in Speyside.
Yes.
So I can attest to what went on in Speyside and among this house. Now, the American owners of this building were never living here permanently. They will just come in maybe 2-3 months per year just to enjoy a different environment. You know, coming to this Goat Island area. It's a beautiful area. And in the back here is the jacuzzi I spoke about.
Right, let's show the viewers.
Yeah, in full,
a natural jacuzzi.
And in full tide, it comes right up. It comes right up. Presently, we are in the low tide, so it's almost empty. But it's
and there's some fish.
And there's also fishes in the area as well.
Right.
And added to this, the sunrise is right here on mornings.
Like I said, folks, when we were coming on the boat, like our chief secretary was not wrong, but folks, yes.
And this is our local swimming pool as well.
And what's on the other side of the island? Because we see some stairs going up.
Well, up there, people who are interested in bird watching, there are migrant species like red-billed tropic birds and boobies that nest on those areas up there.
Wow.
If you are interested in bird watching, you can also go into that area.
Of course. And I mean, Mr. Newton George is one of the best persons on this island to come and, you know, learn more about our bird species and so on. And of course, you know, it's not so easy to get to Goat Island. It's a little bit tricky because as you saw, the jetty is not really, it's kind of broken up and so on. So it was a bit tricky. So if you see me in shorts.
I had about 15 of my clients came on that flight as well.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. All right, Mr. George. All right, so I just want to thank you so much for you know, giving us this tour and giving us a little bit about information about.
Well, Candice, it was a pleasure having you on Goat Island and to see how beautiful this island is and the building. But as I said, we should not allow this building to go away. There are some things we can do with this building. There are two main things we can do. One, we can have weddings over here. People can have their anniversaries over here. Into our government.
Right,
so we should not allow it to go like this.
And then, if you don't understand what we really have here, because we have the Angel Reef. Is it on this side?
Yes, we have the
Angel Reef on this side.
And the Japanese Garden as well.
Japanese Garden, and over there is another reef where you have the largest spring coral in the Western Hemisphere, or one of the largest in the Western Hemisphere. So again, Mr. George, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. Viewers, I am so thrilled to be able to bring this to you. Juliet and Ria, I know you are jealous, but I mean, don't worry, we have the rest of the day. Maybe you could come over if you're brave enough, if you're willing to, you know, tread the waters, because it's a little bit of a bumpy ride, of course, but it is amazing. If you ever get a chance, I mean, we need to be able to treasure our natural resources and so on, and this is one of our little treasures. In Indian Bay.
This day in Tobago history. Did you know that on January 14, 1977, the parliamentary representative for Tobago East moved a motion in the House of Representatives for internal self-government for Tobago? According to Larry Luke's Identity and Secession in the Caribbean, 44 years ago today, then Representative A.N.R. Robinson contended that Tobago had been neglected and underdeveloped by both the colonial and national governments. He argued that the case for Tobago internal self-government was based on three factors: the failure of the colonial solution of amalgamating Tobago's attempts to have a distinct administrative body for Tobago. The top-ranking officers of that organization had no real executive power and had to refer decision-making to senior officers in Trinidad. And three, the dismantling of the Ministry of Tobago Affairs as a punitive measure after the 1976 general elections pointed to Tobago's need for a permanent system of administration, independent of the vagaries of party politics. Robinson additionally claimed that the government was hiding the fact that there were commercial deposits of petroleum in the seabed offshore the island of Tobago. Robinson's motion proved to be the catalyst for a 3-year suffered by Tobago and Tobagonians over the years, culminated in the passing of the Tobago House of Assembly Act No. 37 of 1980. You've been watching This Day in Tobago History. My name is Devon Adana. There's lots more after the break, so make sure you share the live, share the live, share the live.
I'm Patricia Nicholson Richards to our
Welcome
top
to Tobago
story.
Update Sports. I'm your boy Marcus Daniel. Thank you.
Trinidad and looms as
remains when
the public is
nobody lives here. Oil
window
still find
at the
treasures like the golden
continue to
waterfall
rise in Tobago.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Go with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
To this stranger to Tobago, and I know that you're all looking forward to hearing from Rihanna. We want to do shout outs one time to Rihanna again as she's on set with us. Birthday celebrations that just took place, and I'm certain you could not miss that birthday celebration photo shoot. Caswell, shout outs to you this morning. Rihanna, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, good morning Tobago, good morning Rihanna, Julian, and I heard you said earlier everything space side.
With the hint of Charlottesville.
I must say that I do have roots in Speyside because my father is from Speyside. So I want to welcome you to the soil, the eastern end of Tobago, my soil.
Thank you so much for having us. So this morning we're chatting about the Charlottesville Police Youth Club.
13 there was a rebirth, and I was then appointed the leader of the Charlottesville Police Youth Club. So the club has been in existence, I would say, for actually 9 years now. This year will bring it to 9 years.
Excellent. Yeah.
All right, and tell us about some of the activities. We understand that there are youth clubs, police youth clubs throughout the island.
Yes.
But what are some of the activities that you all are engaged in?
So police youth clubs have no sporting cultural activities. The main objective is to prepare youths for a positive role in the nation's development. So the Charlottesville Police Youth Club, we have a holistic view on how to keep the youths engaged. So we target the social ills, and when we say the social ills, we speak about poverty, unemployment, drug and alcohol abuse, teenage pregnancy. So these, and it is demonstrated in the many accolades we have received over the last 8 years. We are talking about most improved youth organization, most outstanding youth organization on the National Youth Awards, the community champion, the chief secretary's community award. So we have shown vast improvements in our operations.
Quite recently, or not so recent, but within the pandemic space and time, I found it very interesting that you were able to engage and bring out young persons within the space, of course, in compliance with the COVID protocols, to do some work on the jetty and so on. Tell us about that project, that beautification project.
Oh yes, and I must say, I see a lot of people taking photos there. So we definitely did a good job on that mooring buoy project. So that project launched in December 2020, and we actually beautified the jetty space. We did that project in collaboration with Eric, which is another group in Charlottesville, and we installed murals, a directional signage, and a been, and we really wanted to beautify that area. That is the first phase of a 3-phase project. The second phase is where we will install and maintain 15 buoys on the water to protect the reefs from anchor damage. So this is a 3-phase program, and it was a well-executed project.
All right, let's talk about some of the at-risk youth within Charlottesville. How has the Police Youth Club been able to make a difference in the lives of at-risk youth?
Well, I must say we are definitely in an adaptation stage, because with the COVID-19, the youth leaders are now called to be innovative, and we have to be very empathetic. This is a time where young people are going through a lot of challenges in terms of and so they are going through a very tough time. In terms of at-risk youth, marginalized young people, we have been trying to target them, and I must say it is a very challenging role, because when you look at the membership of these youth organizations, the youths that are there, they come from good homes, good upbringing, and we're not seeing the at-risk youths coming out. So we are definitely in an adaptation stage, trying our best to implement and undertake programs that speak to young people who come from that area, at risk and marginalized. So we have not been able, I would say we have not been able to totally capitalize on that, because that is very challenging. You have to have programs that actually speak and participate.
Tell us, Ryan, for persons looking on, what are the numbers like now in the Charlottesville Police Youth Club and the broad age group?
So we have a membership of approximately 55 persons. We have youths from ages 5 right up to 29, and then we have the PRM body, which operates as the support group or the support staff for the Police Youth Club. So we have approximately 55 members at this time.
All right, excellent.
Okay, so what are some of the plans for the future? What are you, I mean, understanding here that yes, we're within some limits,
yes,
there are limitations
yes,
because of the time that we live in, but what are some of the plans?
Not that has slowed down the Charlottesville Police Youth Club.
No, the COVID-19 situation has definitely caused us to adjourn and cease some of operations, but we have still tried to maintain some level of normalcy and to maintain some cohesion and keep the youth engaged and to increase their levels of enthusiasm. So we have 2 projects coming up. We have the puberty picnic on the 30th of January, and the facilitator, and she will be coming to have conversations with the young people about sexual intercourse, sexual health, puberty, that transitioning into their teenage years. So we call it the puberty picnic because it will be happening outside of Flagstaff, and I say we are trying to remain innovative going forward in whatever we are doing.
Is this localized to the youths of Charlottesville?
No, it's not. No, it's not. This is for you. Posted about this event. We have people from all Scarborough wanting to attend, so we have the youths engaged, and we also have the repainting of the jetty, because we have to sustain these projects. Even when we do them, we have to keep repainting, so we are repainting the jetty in the month of February. So those are our 2 upcoming programs. We also have programs here, but those are our upcoming programs.
Right. How do potential members as well as stakeholders that want to support the Charlottesville Police Youth Club get in contact with you?
Okay, so we can be reached at charlottevillepyc@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and you can contact me, the leader, 784-3900. We always encourage new members. Youth participation, for me, it forms the core of community development, and it strengthens.
Why should I join a youth organization?
I believe that volunteerism is an investment to your community, and we have to encourage youth to bring out that humanitarian side, that giving back. What can I do to make my community space a better place? And it takes me back to, it takes a village to raise a child, which is a critical, long-standing approach to how we bring our communities and merge them. We have to encourage youth. So I want to tell youth, do some charity work, no matter, it doesn't have to be on a large scale. Continue to volunteer and help someone and give back. So that is my advice this morning for young people looking on.
Right, but we want to thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having me,
officer, and say thank you for your service. So this morning, Officer Ryan Moore, we say thank you for your service, and to the TTPS for putting your lives on the line for us every day.
Yes,
I think you may also want to thank Elton Richardson Jr. I'm just saying.
Jr., good officer.
That's my colleague out of UE as well.
Yeah, but your colleague, my brother, let me big him up this morning.
Yes, big up Elton, my co-worker.
And thank you so much. I want to say as well, good morning to my husband, Oswald George, teacher at Speyside. Hi, good morning. I love you. And to
Ria, just Mr. Adin, I'll be back home shortly. Carry on, Ria.
yeah, baby. So, also, we want to say thank you to two of our sponsors, Hair Sanctuary and to Kiana Jones and to her perfection. We say good morning and thank you again for support.
I got to remind them as well. Classic Cuts by Aquila's, of course, the haircut this morning, as well as the outfit by Richard's Men's Store located there in Mount Pleasant, continuing to support the Tobago Updates family here. And we want to thank you for that support. Remember, you can feel free to continue to make contact with us at info@tobagoupdates.com. Also, contact us via phone, because I know after this morning you definitely want to join the advertising lineup. It's 284-6597. Thank you very much again, Rianne, for being on with us this morning.
Have a good day.
I suspect Rianne might be joining us for breakfast.
Definitely.
You never know.
Definitely.
She's not leaving.
You can't miss breakfast with the chief.
We're not done yet. And just in case you were hearing some cutlery banging on this side there, nope, it's not people that the chief have asked to assist with breakfast. It's the chief himself. It's the chief himself dealing with it on this side before we go across. We're not done yet, folks. So we want to remind you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
To all Tobagonians and visitors of this beautiful island, the Tobago Recycling Resource Initiative is seeking your efforts and support in keeping a clean and organized, friendly environment. In doing so, drop-off bins are located at strategic areas around Tobago for your recyclable materials such as plastics, aluminum and steel cans, glass bottles and Tetra packs in bags, and let's protect our environment. Our own Tobago Recycling Resource Initiative is here to propel that change. Look for the white bin nearest to your area.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
Segment here for today, Breakfast with the Chief. This is Tobago Updates morning show. Ria, are we going to waste any time with conversation?
We're not wasting any time.
Over to you, Chief.
So we have breakfast this morning, and I will serve them. You see, he who must lead must first serve.
That's
right. So we have some nice kingfish fried. We also went towards ensuring I got some chicken, because we have some tongue folks here, so they may not eat any fish, right? But creatively, what we did is we took the chicken and we created some nice balls, almost like akra, with the chicken meat. Of course, we're eating healthy, so we have lots of salads, and you can't come country and get a good bake, good coconut bake.
Thank you.
A good coconut bake, right. and we get some flaxseed for good measure, and of course we have our sausages, and we have our fruits, watermelon, our bananas, and by the way, these are not bananas you buy in no kind of import. Proper silk fig and thing, and pineapple, and of course your nuts and your grains and so on. And we have chocolate tea. We have chocolate tea for those who want good chocolate tea. So I'm just going to say, we're going to eat, we're going to chit chat.
That's right.
And of course, and we go from there. Sorry I can't share with everybody, but you'll watch us eat.
And you know, Rhea, I don't want us to leave out the viewers at all. Yes, Makita George, Speyside hospitality at its finest.
Right. Hi, Makita.
Russell Morrison, Tobago style. Katie, where are you? Hey, look at the layout. Pops.
Right.
Katie, where are you? Laverne Simon, QK Melville, we see you all in the lineup out there. Anne-Marie Davis. Have no fear, folks. I'm about to try each and every item just for you.
And he's not
just for you.
That's right. So love going out to all our viewers this morning. We want to thank you for joining us. We are going to be enjoying this breakfast for you, not just for ourselves, but for you. Every bite we take, we will think of you guys.
And I want to assure Anna Augustine, he's having an early breakfast this morning.
That's right.
And he's making sure that he's going to sit down and have a meal with us before he runs off to duties.
That's right. To my parents, Elton, Joan Richardson, and my aunt Esther Holdip. Love to you guys. We will be enjoying this. And Auntie Dora Lyons, this one. Dora Davidson Lyons from Speyside, this one is for you. Love you.
Lavian Skeet. Laverne Simon. I know Lavian called me this morning while I was up here because she asked me, Daddy, why do you have to leave so early? Why do you have to leave so early? Why do you have to be on the show so early? I said, well, it's in Speyside, and we want to thank everyone for the Speyside hospitality. Lavian Skeet, Daddy is seeing you out there, and thank you so much for your continued love and support this morning. She said, make sure and give her a shout out specifically.
That's right, that. So viewers, have a great day. Stay safe on the roads, and we will see you. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. We'll see you on Monday right here for the Tobago Updates morning show. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Never look back, chick. Trendy, a little crazy, intelligently, singing rock back, chick. No sticks, no stones, or any kind of weapon don't belong here. I don't want to break no bones. I just want a microphone. Take the mask off your face and look at me face to face. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.